What's up, YouTube? You can see the title and also the picture on the screen. Now, I said in my last video that I was gonna address this colorism, this colorism stuff. You know, with all these women that are talking about colorism and all this, and I gotta, I gotta get on this because on one hand, when we're talking about colorism, which is a woman being discriminated against based on her skin complexion, right? I would say more when we're looking at this colorism stuff, more it would be more over to the dark skin side. But I don't see why it wouldn't be on the light skin side too. Wouldn't it be both? A woman who can be discriminated for being light skinned or a woman discriminated against for being dark skinned. I know it's more on the dark skin side, so we just gonna talk about this then, right? This colorism and dark skinned women being discriminated against and whatnot. Now, here's the thing with this. With this colorism stuff, I believe for the most part, this was jump started by a woman by the name of Rashida Strober, I believe. And she'll basically come out and say that, yeah, there's a lot of colorism and whatnot, and women being discriminated against based on their skin complexion, and they're not seen as, as attractive as a lighter skinned woman. And to a degree, this can be true. When we're looking at colorism or someone being discriminated for a dark skin, that could be like, if we look at, and it's not even just the black community. Here's the thing. There's other communities where, there's some facets of colorism. Like, for example, the Asian community, there's a level of colorism. And I definitely know this because, I have, some Asian friends, and they tell me about this, with, those who are actually from, from, over, in the Asian countries that they were from. Like, they weren't, American born. They actually came over from those countries, and they would tell me about the colorism that would be in the Asian community. So there's colorism there too, in the Philippines and whatnot. So there's colorism in other communities when it comes to someone who's lighter skin being put up above someone who's darker skin. This happens in the Asian community, like I said, even somewhat the Hispanic community. So this happens in other communities, but since we're talking about the black community with this colorism, we're just gonna focus on that. But I have to ask the question, as you see in the title, is it really colorism? Now, what do I mean by that? So, like I said, you got these women like Rashida Strober, and then you have this other YouTuber, which I did make like my two last videos about, the Chrissy and Cynthia G drama or whatever that was going on. And when it comes to Chrissy, she's on the same thing with this colorism stuff. And, I made a video, like I said, my last video where I was talking about Chrissy. And Chrissy, man, I kind of partially got on her head in my last video, but I'm going to make a separate video specifically on Chrissy because I have to get on her head more. But when it comes to her with this colorism stuff, one question you would sit back and ask when it comes to the colorism in general, besides even Chrissy, just the colorism in general, the question I have to ask is it really colorism? Is it always color? Is it really just because the skin is dark? Or could it be that you're not attractive? See, here's the thing that I want to talk about. It's always, because my skin is dark. Could it be that you're just not attractive? Because I've never seen an attractive dark-skinned woman complain about colorism. This picture that I have on the screen right here, do you think this female right here complains about colorism and not getting attention from men because of her dark skin? Now, colorism actually, to be honest, would be more than just, I guess getting attention from men. Colorism can actually just be overall discrimination based on your skin complexion. So let's say you might not get, when it comes to you getting a job, how you're viewed in society, but that's entirely different. More when we're talking about this colorism, from what I see a lot, it's more so focused on attention from men and, you know, oh, how this affects this person when they're, in relationships or whatever, or trying to get a mate, you know what I'm saying? That's really the main focus. It's not more so society and whatnot. I mean, to a degree that, with these colorism, people they'll talk about that aspect of the society, but more so it's really about in the relationships. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to this colorism, it's always, you know, blaming, or more so they want to say that black men are the ones who perpetuate colorism the most. Now, I have to stop the car on that. We have to hit the brakes pretty hard on that one, because we can't just sit up here and say black men are the ones who perpetuate colorism the most, because we're just gonna leave out how black women play a role in colorism as well. This is the funny part about this. There are black women who literally have a colorist mindset as well. And even I've heard many, you know, even black men who will say that, oh, their mom or whatever, or maybe even their grandma will want them to bring home a lighter skinned woman compared to a darker skin. So this has nothing to do with the black man in that situation. This is this mom or this grandma or whatever who's perpetuating colorism as well and wants to see that mindset in and of itself is a lot deeper. When it comes to her wanting someone to bring home a lighter skinned female, that's something entirely different. That's a whole nother conversation. But to say that black men are the ones who perpetuate colorism the most, we can't just sit up here and say that, because a complaint I often hear when it comes to this colorism stuff is how, oh, lighter skinned women are seen as more beautiful in society. Now, hold up. We got to stop there. Because, see, they'll blame black men for that. They'll actually sit up there and blame black men for that. Which is funny, because how can black men at all cause the media? Because that would be more so talking about the media. How can black men sit up here and influence the media perception of lighter skinned women and have them put on a pedestal over darker skinned women? That don't have nothing to do with, black men, as a whole, really. No, it does not. Black men really would have no control over that and be able to make lighter skinned women the standard of beauty, or prop them up, over darker skinned women. And see, it's very interesting, because you have these women that will say these things and blame black men for this. Although, when we're talking about, like I said, the media and how lighter skinned women are viewed in TV and all this and movies, that really doesn't have a lot to do with black men. When we're talking about these certain movies and stuff in media and TV shows, we would be more so talking about the people who are in charge of these TV shows and these movies and, these companies that, all this stuff, which is ran by, I'll just say the elites or whatever. And, for looking at that, that would not be black men. If anything, that would be, I guess you would say, for the sake of this, we would say, Brad, right? So what confuses me is, what if the TV shows, if the movies, even if the magazines, if all these are showing lighter skinned women as a standard of beauty, or putting them over dark skinned women, being that this is not being perpetuated by black men, this would technically be Brad, right? See, in my last video, I talked about the Cape of Brad. And see, now I'm confused, because shouldn't they be, saying that Brad is the one that perpetuates this? Why is Brad? Because you see, when they talk about black men perpetuating colorism, they speak in absolutes. This is all black men's fault to them. This is how they speak. Like, it's like black men are just out here perpetuating colorism, and all of them are colorists and all of this. So shouldn't they be according to what I just said about these TV shows, these movies and whatnot, shouldn't Brad be the one that should be getting more of you know, the smoke? You know, shouldn't the shouldn't we, when we talk about the colorism piece, shouldn't we be speaking in absolutes when it comes to Brad? Since this would basically be, I guess we would say, okay, for the sake of this, it would be Brad, right? So shouldn't we be speaking in absolutes for Brad? But no, they don't even bring Brad into this for the most part. They don't even really put any blame, as they would on black men. With black men, they gonna put the blame, even though it's just stupid to do, and it would be stupid to even put the blame on Brad. But I'm going by their logic. So shouldn't we be blaming all Brads for this? Shouldn't we be blaming them? The lighter skinned women are put on a pedestal. No, 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 no. But they're not gonna do that. No, 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 no. They're not gonna attack Brad. Never, 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 never. So they're gonna leave that out the equation and blame all black men for this colorism piece and say that it's black men's fault that lighter skinned women are giving more of the shine. Now you can talk about rappers and certain celebrities of black men who will date they do this thing with they're dating these lighter skinned women, but the reason why I'm not even about to go in on their head like that, to a degree, especially if it's a black man who's dating a black woman and she so happens to be lighter skinned, I'm not even about to go in on his head. Because see, first it was, they're with white women. Then it's, they're with, they're with, now it's with, they're with, lighter skinned, women or biracial women. Then it's, they're with a black woman, but she's lighter skinned. It doesn't stop. It's never going to stop. If she's not black as asphalt, 4C hair, big nose and big lips, and, just looking, because, see, here's the thing. If she's not looking like that, then you're a colorist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She has to be as black as asphalt, as black as the sky at night. She has to have 4C hair, big nose, big lips. It can't be nothing other than that, or you're a colorist. This is literally what this is. And to be honest, like I said, is it really colorism, or is it that you're not attractive? Is it just because I feel like a lot of these women that complain about colorism, they use this dark skin as a way to shield their unattractiveness. And since they're unattractive, what they do is they will say, well, I'm dark skinned. So what I can do is I can use my dark skin as a vice. I can use this as a way to say, well, it's my dark skin why I'm not getting attention. And use that as a way to say, this is why, because they're colorist. And instead of just seeing that they're not that attractive, and instead of staying in their lane, because what a lot of these women I feel like they're doing is they're trying to date outside of their lane of attractiveness. So they try to date someone who's above them in, looks. They're not on the same level in looks. They're out of their lane in looks. So what they do is, since they don't want to acknowledge that they're too out of their lane and they don't want to get back in their lane, they need some lane assist for their car, but see, they don't want to do that. They want to stay out their lane and have people honking at them, telling you, no, it's not because, you're because you're dark skinned. You're just out of your lane of attractiveness. You're just not. This is what it is. But since they don't want to get back in their lane. They want to stay out their lane, and they want to get mad that people are honking at them, telling them to get back in their lane. And see, when it comes to Chrissy, like I said, I'm making a separate video on her, but it's funny because Chrissy's never showed her face. And I wonder why. Now, there's pictures circulating that people are speculating, saying that, this is Chrissy and whatnot. And, if that is Chrissy in those pictures, I understand the content. See, it's not always about the dark skin. It could also be that you're just not attractive. Why does it always have to be, my skin is dark? There are light-skinned women who don't get attention. Now, we have to sit back and be like, okay, well, according to these women, they're light-skinned, so they should be getting attention, right? But no, the reason there's light-skinned women who won't get attention is because they're not attractive. You see, it's not just because the skin is dark. It's more so, are you attractive or are you not? That's literally what it is. Do we go up to a man with no money who may not get the women he wants and say, oh, and he can try to, cry foul for something else besides his money? Maybe you don't have the amount of money that a certain caliber of woman would actually, okay, let me get with him. He has money, he can do this and that. And that would be one thing that would be able to get you a certain woman of a caliber you want. Do we look at a man with no money and do we look at a man with money and a man without money, and that man with money is able to get certain women, but the man that doesn't have as much money can't get certain women? And is he able to cry foul over something else besides his money? No, we're gonna say no. You're broke, right? You're definitely gonna do that. But when it comes to this colorism piece, it's because my skin's dark, and we're using this as a cloak to cover up the fact that you just may not be attractive. So is it really colorism, or is it just because you're not pretty? So can we change it then? Can we say it's prettyism or something? I mean, some other ism besides colorism, because it's just not always colorism. I'm sorry. Colorism, a lot of times to me, is more so when it comes to discrimination in society, when it comes to getting a job, how you're viewed by other people, because we know that's also kind of like a racial aspect. But if we throw that out the window, is it really just because your skin's dark? I mean, seriously, because what it sounds like is you're saying that, oh, I'm dark skinned and I'm attractive and I'm not getting attention. I know. This woman in this picture right here, I'm sure she gets lots of attention. I don't think her skin prohibits her from getting attention from men. I'm sorry. You're not going to tell me that. I'm sorry. There are men that find her attractive. Trust me. This is an attractive woman to me. And her skin does not prohibit anything. She's just attractive, okay? But we'll have these other women who will be dark skinned, maybe like this woman, but be unattractive and cry colorism. We're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. And it just goes to show people will find anything to just address what actually is. And that's what's in the mirror. And instead of just being like, okay, I'm out my lane, I might not be as attractive as I think, and accepting that and going in a lane where you can actually get attention, you will cry colorism. And the colorism piece is even more hilarious when we look at the fact that, some of these women that are complaining about colorism, like Chrissy, for example, I don't understand why colorism is still even a topic with certain females like that when they're promoting things, when it comes to saying that black men perpetuate this, but yet they are advocating for, so quote unquote, dating out or something like that. And it's even more funny when we have women like Chrissy who, aren't pro-black, but yet they will still try to find their way to say something about black men when it comes to the community and whatnot, but you're not pro-black. Why do you care? Even when it comes to, with this, I'm gonna make a video about the Ice Cube thing too. Women like Chrissy will try to talk about the Ice Cube thing, but yet you're not pro-black. What does it concern you? Why do you care? She may not have said, I don't really think, I don't watch Chrissy, but you may not have said anything about divesting, but you've definitely said, for women to date out. So, and we know we got a lot of divestors that watch her stuff. So what I have to ask is, why are these same women worried about Ice Cube and what he's trying to do for the black community? You've divested. You've #burned the cape. It should not concern you what Ice Cube is doing. You should be where you are, divested. Stop saying stuff about black men. But they are invested. See, they are invested in going after and saying stuff about black men. They are highly invested. They are highly invested. Anyway, any channel where they can hear negative things about black men, they will watch it. Why do you think? And see, this Chrissy drama actually shows a lot too to me, because with the Chrissy and Cynthia G drama, you have to think, why, you have Chrissy followers who will watch Cynthia G, yet Cynthia G's content has nothing to do with what Chrissy's content is. They're almost diametrically opposed. So what it is Cynthia G says negative things about black men. If you watch her content, she often tries to bash black men about the black community. And when black men date out, yet she herself will say, won't have a problem really that much when it comes to black women dating out. So there's the hypocrisy there. But we have a channel, two channels that really don't talk about the same thing at all. One channel which you would deem somewhat pro-black, and the other Chrissy, who says she's not pro-black, but yes, she'll try to find a way to talk about black men. But this is the stupidity of these people, these dumb niggas. But we'll have Cynthia G, two different channels with Cynthia G and Chrissy, two different channels. But yet somehow you will have Chrissy viewers watching Cynthia G. Why? Because they love to hear negative things about black men. This is the obsession with the Negro, with the black man. This is the obsession with the black man. And I'm gonna make a video on that too. I just got a bunch of videos I'm gonna be making. But that is gonna be one video where I'm gonna really, really break a lot of stuff down. I might even have to pull out some notes, because this obsession, when we just can just break down the most minute of things, and it's like, why do you care? Hashtag why do you care? It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I kind of went off on that one and just kind of digressed into something else. But I don't understand with these colorisms. These I guess these women who are crying colorism all the time when it's not always colorism. For one, it might be because you're unattractive. For two, it could just be how you act, your attitude, the way you carry yourself. And for three, you are just trying to use it as a cloak. Like I said, for the number one, which is you being unattractive. We need to stop with that. But they're not going to stop. They're going to continue to push this colorism. And these same women who want to say black men perpetuated and bash black men about it will then turn around and say they're going to date out, but yet they're still concerned with black men. And on top of that, they're concerned with black affairs when it comes to the black community, like Ice Cube. What is wrong with these people? The stupidity of these niggas. These niggas are dumb. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I just had to put my 2 cents in on this colorism piece. And why I think it's not always colorism. It could just be because you're unattractive. Yeah, but I'm out.